Hi, and welcome to Rate That Album, the back and forth podcast about music albums.
Get it together, Paul.
God damn it! I'm already thinking about our cast that movie and a couple other things we did. Damn it! We do music album reviews. As always, it's got myself and my great friend Joe Fremming. Joe, how you doing, sir?
You really came into that intro like a wrecking ball.
This is our party. We do what we want. All right. Yes, we are doing Miley Cyrus's fourth solo album, Bangerz, from 2013. What did you think of Bangerz?
It's a mixed bag for me. Obvious. Let's just get out of the way. I'm not the target audience for this album, and I'd assume you aren't either. Right. But there's things like I really enjoyed, and then there's things I really didn't. It's also interesting. This is like a transitional album too, which I always love with artists, where they're going from kind of growing up and doing different things. Because Miley Cyrus before this was probably known mostly for the Hannah Montana shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then she came out with a club album, like club, party album like this, which is, interesting because, she's taken risks on this.
Mm-hmm.
She was a Disney superstar, and this kind of is a giant middle finger to the super clean, holier than thou Disney pop star elements. So I that shit I can appreciate. Even if it's like not my favorite album, I have respect for this album.
Yes, and I'm glad you said that because you really nailed a lot of things I wanted to say as well. We are not the target audience. Let's put that out there right now. You and I were not the target audience for this album, and that's very clear. Yes, let's talk a little bit about how we get to Bangerz, and I think that's a really important thing. So yes, Miley Cyrus, whose real name is Hope Destiny Cyrus. Is the daughter of the infamous Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh, you mean the pool guy from Mulholland Drive who beats up Justin Theroux?
Yes, I'm sorry, Destiny Hope, not Hope Destiny, Destiny Hope. Yeah, that guy, the same guy.
Yeah, I mean, what I love about this album came out and like it felt like it was kind of like because she was pretty young. This kid was like a rebellion against like kind of like everything, and then he kind of went off the rails too, and like went in like the kind of like the opposite, even more strange. Dug his heels into weird country shit. And it was like I remember he did like a video, and I'm like, I think they're on the same drugs, but they're just on different paths.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, and that I'm really glad you brought that up because that was something else I was going to bring up. Was it seemed like that not only was this transitioning, but yes, Billy Ray was going through a crazy time as well. So I'm always very careful, and that's why I said there's going to be some armchair psychiatry here or therapy, because Miley Cyrus is a child star. And there is so many stories there. It comes with baggage, right, Joe? You just hear the horror stories of children that were in the music industry or in the
just the entertainment in general.
Entertainment in general. And she was in both, right? She was doing music and she was doing TV, and she was really combining it. And
could have been worse. She could have ended up like Danny Bonaducci.
Got her own reality show.
Yeah, where the season ends with her drinking a liter of vodka with Gatorade while staring at it down an alley. One of the most jarring things I've ever seen on television.
and they captured it all. Yeah, no, that's true. She could have ended up like Danny Bonaducci. I don't think if those of us that are listening to this because it's Miley Cyrus probably has no fucking clue who Danny Bonaducci is.
Just be happy.
Just be happy you don't.
He's the he's the poster child of cautionary tales of child stardom.
Yeah. So, Miley also, she came out of that Disney churn, which also comes with its own baggage. And there's a lot of documented stuff. I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, she started with Hannah Montana, then the album Hannah Montana 2. And then, there were some spin-offs of that. And then really the one that came out, I think that was really the first Miley, was give me 1 second here. Sorry.
It was Party in the USA.
Well, yeah, but I don't remember what the album was.
It doesn't matter. That was the one song I get.
Yeah.
That kind of like put her like outside of the Hannah Montana, like she's making music on her own outside the persona.
Yes. And Can't Be Tamed. That was it. Can't Be Tamed. I believe is what it was. And that's when she was in that movie, The Last Song. Anyways, so Miley has like a really interesting history. Like, did you know that Dolly Parton is her godmother?
No, but I mean, she's from a country music family. Doesn't really surprise me, I guess. Like, nothing about Miley is really going to shock me. I mean, she's done an album with the Flaming Lips, so you're not going to shock me at any point with any information.
No, and you and I both love the Flaming Lips, like, and so I think that's absolutely awesome.
That's a good album too.
It's a great album. So yeah, it's there's so much there, and then she was really trying to get away from kind of that. They all do it, right? Like you see it. I mean, they don't all do it as successfully as Miley does, but we're going to get into that a little bit, I think, because one of the things that I feel with this album, getting the bangers, is one of the things that that there's things on here that are we can't deny that are really. I mean, Wrecking Ball. So many people covered it. It's a huge hit. It's an earworm. It's a great song, just in general. I mean, you can't deny what it is. You can't deny some of the stuff that's on here. But this is the reason why this album is why I have a really hard time getting into pop music. This album right here, like, exemplifies why I thought I wasn't going to like Beyonce's Lemonade. Because one of the problems with it to me, as you said, it's a mixed bag. There's some disingenuousness to it, and we'll get into that, I think, as we go through tracks, where I'm just like, Miley wrote 12 of the 16 songs on the album, which that's one of the things I don't like about pop, is that I don't want to listen to someone else sing someone else's song, right? Like, write your own songs. I want to hear your music. I want to hear what you're doing. You and I lived through Milli Vanilli. There was a time when artists couldn't get away with this. And now it doesn't matter. I mean, if Milli Vanilli had come along 10 years later, they would have been huge and no one would have cared. So I kind of have that issue with it, but there's things in here that comes across disingenuine, and there's other things in here that I hear and I go, this is one of those things where you listen to some of the songs and I go, is this a cry for help? Like, is this like a Britney Spears, God, what was her name? Amanda Bynes, Lindsay Lohan situation, where some of the stuff on here, it makes me worried, like, where she was at the time. And, again, this is how many years later, and she's admitted and gone through her own things afterwards. But there were some definite red flags on this album that I was like, okay, this is like, someone needs to sit down with her and be like, are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see a lot of that. But again, how old was she when this came out? Like 18, 19?
No, God, no. Because she was born in 92, and this came out in 13. So she was in her 20s.
20. She was 20s. Yeah, I mean, what 20-year-old has their shit together and isn't going through anything? Like, I mean, I can see that, but like, I mean, we've all had. I mean, she just has different issues than we did because she had, music industry and for one, and then the abundance of like drugs and fucking
money and
all that kind of factors in. My thing is with this album is not so much that as is the reliance on guest spots, which really kind of takes the songs, like, just kind of at times just ruins it.
Yeah, there's guest spots, there's sampling, there's yes, that takes away from it. Yeah, I think let's I don't know if you would want to go through track by track. I kind of do, if you're all right with that.
If you want to. I don't remember all of the tracks, so I'll be a little vague on some of them just because it's just some of them just kind of blurred together just because it was just like, oh, here's more hip hop, sampling, and which again, like a lot of that. Another thing with pop music, she's really like leaning into like what was popular in 2012, 2013, like production styles. For pop albums, that will automatically age it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So like this already sounds like a decade old, even though, except for like maybe Wrecking Ball is the only one that didn't really super rely on it. But this, to me, a lot of this stuff sounds exactly what Katy Perry did like a few years before with the album that had like, was that the Sparks song? That was huge.
Yep.
It just seems like it was like kind of like piggybacking on that style. And that's just going to age it. It's like you can go by a decade and if you play a song, you can definitely tell, oh, that was a pop song in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Like, and that's what I think also hampers a lot of this album.
Oh, yes, completely agreed. And what's really interesting is when it came out and there's all these accolades, and now even going back, people credit her for that sound. And I'm glad you said it, because I'm like, no, this sound was there. Yeah. She didn't create it. She didn't do it.
That big anthemic pop with the hip hop, like I said, the Katy Perry Sparks. I remember because I was living in Worthington in 2010, from 2010 to 2012, and I was hearing that song, and this came up well after I moved from Worthington, Minnesota. So,
yep,
it wasn't, that was the first thing I thought was Katy Perry's album, but.
Yeah, no, completely agree with you. So, but I also want to bring up that that's something else that happens all the time is, you look at like, say, Madonna. Madonna got credit for supposedly creating all this stuff when really she wasn't. She was just the one that packaged it the best.
Yeah.
And that's really where I think Miley's thing was, where you could sit there and go, oh man, she changed everything. No, she was surrounded by people that were smart enough to look at what was going on at the time. And there's talent there that has to be able to do it. And she was able to put it into this prism that just exemplified it, for good or bad. Because again, exactly as you said, when you listen to pop music, that's one of the things you could tell what decade it's coming from because of the way it was produced.
Yeah. I will give it because, this was like, it's kind of like this album was to kill her old image.
Oh, 100%.
Again, like I love transitional albums. Like they're always fascinating to me, like this, or like if you listen to like Hunky Dory by Bowie, or Rubber Soul by the Beatles. Like when you see these pop artists like really attempting to do something different and ballsy, that shit just fascinates me. Because it's just like, it's such a high risk thing. And when it pays off, it's like really enjoyable. And unfortunately, this for me was a mixed bag, but I'm not the audience. I'm sure that her fans this is probably their favorite album.
Yeah.
So
this is one of her more critically acclaimed albums. It's actually not, if I remember correctly, Plastic Hearts, I think, is commercially her best album.
Yeah.
Which came out last year or the year before. It came out in 2020. But that commercially was like her best album. But yes, influentialized, and just when everyone was talking about Miley, this really brought it up, right? I mean,
when you think of Miley, this is the album. This is the album you think about, yeah. Mm-hmm. And can we say her fucking voice is amazing?
Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
Holy shit! Like, I was not expecting that, but like I kind of knew because, like, with her stuff with the Flaming Lips, I really loved her cover of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like when she lets it out, like, holy shit! Like, she has like a vocal range where she can do any genre she wants. She tries to do it here again to mix results for me, at least. But yeah, she had one of those voices where she could do a country album, a pop album, a fucking, like an Amy Winehouse type album, like throwback album. Like she could just do whatever she wants because she has that unique voice that I really love. And I'm kind of like interested in hearing what more she has to offer.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that really, I think for me, drives the album down, unfortunately, is I feel like tonally, I mean, again, she was dealing with a lot of things I want to bring up a little bit more here. I mean, she was going through, at the time, I mean, Wrecking Ball, it was all about Liam Hemsworth. There was the thing with her trying to change her image.
The lesser Hemsworth.
Yes, the lesser Hemsworth.
The non-Thor Hemsworth.
Kind of like the fatty of the Baldwins, right?
Yeah, Billy Baldwin.
Yes, he's the Billy of the group. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things going on, and I think it was ambitious for her to try and I think put this all out there. But I think as you said, it came out as a mixed bag. I feel like there wasn't a lot of focus. I mean, granted, it's great. I mean, again, I harped on it a little bit where I said she only wrote 12 of the 16 songs, but that's more than what some other pop stars do. So
yeah, that was like my too. Like it just, if it had more focus to it, where it was more cohesive, I think it would have worked a lot better. At least for me. But again, I'm not the audience. I'm just some dude. So,
yeah,
let's get into the tracks, Paul.
So, let's open with Adore You, which was interesting, and I think was an interesting play, because, again, I really want to bring up what was going on. The singles for this were Wrecking Ball, We Can't Stop, and I think it was Do My Thing, were like the three ones that came up beforehand, and so people were expecting this thing, and then it opens with Adore You, which is a very pretty song. I mean, it's a love song,
a bad opening song. Because you and I we talk a lot about sequencing songs.
Mm-hmm.
You got to start an album off with a bang, and you started off with a ballad. Like I popped this on when I was driving last week, and I was like, "Oh, this is a bad song to begin an album called Bangerz with."
Right. Yeah. It was.
This is the opposite of a banger.
Yeah, and I think it threw me off. It threw you off because you have an idea of what this album's going to be, and it opens with Adore You, and I think that was. Honestly, I think that was somewhat by design. I think it was. I think there's a lot of packaging going on with this album, and we'll get in that as we go a little bit further. The next one is We Can't Stop. I had a problem with this song when it came out. It's a good song, but it's not it's the most depressing party anthem I've ever heard. Like, it's not about, more so like in my mind when I listen to the song, it's not about partying. It's more about I picture it's the end of the night, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and people want to stop partying, and they can't. This was one of those things where I was like, this is more of I thought at the time when it was coming out, and maybe it still is, was kind of a song about partying too much in a way, because it's so low key for a party song.
Well, I mean, they're not addicts, Paul. They just can't stop.
You're right. I mean, the name of the song,
I'm not addicted to this coke. I just can't stop snorting it.
Yeah, it's literally We Can't Stop, and again, it's we're gonna get in this later down the road, but I mean, this is part of that sampling coming in and ripping things off, which is part of the hip hop thing, or I mean, she's la da dee da dee, she's doing Slick Rick, and but some of the some of the lyrics are juvenile in the way everybody's in line in the bathroom trying to get a line in the bathroom. You rhymed bathroom with bathroom, and this happens a lot in this album where she rhymes instead of rhyming because she's trying to do a hip hop thing with it, or
Let's just say the caveat to my thing that she can do just about any genre. The caveat to this is she should not be doing hip hop.
Right.
It's not her.
It's not a strong suit. I mean,
it's like just just don't.
Yeah, just don't. And I mean, and one of the that's no
I understand she can't stop, but maybe she should. Because you don't have that. You're not spitting that fire. You're spitting confusing rhymes.
Right. And this happens throughout the entire album. Like, this is a precedent throughout the entire album. I mean, at one point she ends everything with bitch 4 times. And I know that's not unheard of, but at the same time, it's so boring, It's like, oh my God. So yeah, like when I hear the song We Can't Stop, and then it's this, and like this, there's this really low key, there's like an underlining tone, and I don't know if she was trying to say something like, hey, we can't stop. And, and I really think that there was some kind of subconsciousness to this, because she later did come out and was like, yeah, I had to go to rehab. And she's successfully been through rehab, and still is clean. But yeah, I think this was,
I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't care.
According to her, she still is. She started drinking again during
that's that's obviously clean. If you're an addict, drinking's all right.
Well, she said she started drinking again during COVID isolation, but she hasn't touched anything else. So I don't know, like, her problem was alcoholism. I'm just saying, right. I don't know if her problem was alcoholism.
It's like people I know, like, I'm sober, but I just still smoke pot. Like, sure. I mean, you're technically not sober, but
if that's all you're, it's that minimalization, thing that we do. It's that rationalization. But again, I can't sit there and say that, she went in because she was an alcoholic, right? Like,
I know.
It could have been the lines. It could have been she sings a lot about fucking ecstasy on this album.
Yeah, but ecstasy is not really habit form. Again, it's just like, just like, don't say you're clean if you're fucking imbibing in intoxicants. It's just, it makes you seem stupid.
There you go. So then,
and a liar, a dirty liar,
a dirty liar. I
don't care how many batteries you have for your dildo, Millie.
Well, speaking of dildos, for the batteries for the dildos, let's get the SMS Bangers.
Yeah. Which I didn't actually mind, and I like the sample of "Push It" by Salt and Pepper on here.
Oh God, that was so there's sampling from Salt and Pepper, which I don't know, it threw me off, because at the same time, that's such an iconic song, and if you're gonna use something like that, you really got to bring your A game to the song.
Is it still iconic? I think that's more of an artifact from our time, Paul. I don't think a lot of people in this day and age know Salt and Pepper.
I think everyone knows shit.
If I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Miley Cyrus's fans have any fucking clue who Salt and Pepper are.
I don't know. I mean, Push It's but just one of those songs. I mean, it's still played on the radio, for Christ's sakes.
What radio are you listening to, Paul? Your playlists are not the radio.
That's true. No one listens to the radio anymore. All right, fair enough.
Your playlist on your phone is not the radio.
So, and this gets to the first guest, Britney Spears, who is, I don't know. This goes back to like the Ice-T thing that we had with
Black Sabbath.
With Black Sabbath, which was why? Because it's so little. Like,
which is, I think a Britney Miley combo would be a lot more memorable than this. Like, I didn't even know Britney was on this until I'm looking at the thing on Wikipedia here. Like, no clue. No clue. It's Britney Spears.
Right. The producer, Mike Will Made It, should have known that this could have been like, holy shit. Like, in my mind, when I hear Britney Spears and Miley Cyrus doing a song together, I'm immediately going, we got co-tours going on. We got the Miley Cyrus, Britney Spears tour going on. We need to make, and you got, the song is it's the name of the fucking album. And it should be like the boom track, and it's not. It's not bad. It says
Bangerz a lot, so at least it's telling us what it is.
Bangers. And this goes back to where, again, a lot of this album is a lot of repetition, which is just.
Well, that's just club music in general, so I'm not going to fault it too much with that.
Yeah, no, but again, it's not made for you and I, but that's just, again, my nitpick with it is, whew. Then we get to 4x4.
I like this song, actually.
so
it's like, again, it plays to her strength. It's like a country hip hop song, country hip hop is a genre I fucking despise.
Yeah.
But this, at least, it worked for me. It kind of showcased her vocals.
It showcased
pretty well.
Vocals. Yep.
Nelly was a weird addition, but I was all right with that.
Can I say? I mean, even though this came out almost 10 years ago, I forgot about Nelly.
Yeah, I forgot him. I haven't thought about Nelly since Country Grammar came out, and that was like what, 2000?
Yeah. I think so.
I assumed he was dead.
I just assumed he kind of just did his own thing, was maybe working at like an In-N-Out. But no, and Nelly was a weird choice for this. One of the things, again, I know it's club music, but this isn't really a club song, and there's just so much repetition with it. Around and around and away we go, round and round and away we go, and I'm like, oh my god.
She also sings about pissing her pants.
Yeah, she sings about pissing her pants, and yeah.
I mean that's solid gold right there.
Yep. And she's a Southern rebel. Let's not forget that. She's a rebel girl. I mean, it's like, it's
actually just, like, I would like this a lot more if they cut out the hip hop beats, and I mean, just cut Nelly out. I think it would have been a stronger song, but whatever. She was going for something.
This is where the tonal thing, like, I just don't feel like this is one of the songs I didn't feel like fit on the album, right? Like, Next we get to My Darling with Future.
I hated this song so much.
I hated this song.
I think let's cue up Jay-Z's Death to Auto-Tune. Paul, wait, we don't have the rights for that.
Yeah, I know we don't. But yeah.
God damn it. But yeah, that'd been so perfect to play right there.
I know what it wouldn't have if we had the rights to Death of Auto-Tune. No, I can kind of do it if I do it out of tune, so we don't. Hey.
Oh god.
Goodbye.
Oh god. Yeah.
Yeah, this was okay. Going back to kind of like where I felt with like the Bangerz, the song Bangerz. If you're gonna sample something or use something from someone else's thing, you got to bring it better. Trying to sample or trying to redo "Stand by Me." Oof. That's
that didn't work. Especially you're doing it as an auto tune with Future, and it just sounds like a robot vomiting all over my brain.
Yeah, and like we're gonna make a movie in 3D. I was like, what? Like what? Like a lot of this is one of my things. It's like, I know this is a transitional album. She was going through a lot. I was expecting, I mean, you had things like Wrecking Ball, and you had things like We Can't Stop, where the music was really, conveying some stuff. And then I really felt like this one was really devoid of any type of
logic.
Logic or narrative or what. I didn't.
Yeah, like I listened to this album quite a few times, and after the first listen, this was the only one I skipped over.
Yeah, this was not good.
As soon as it came on, like fuck off, like fuck you.
All it made me want is
fuck you.
What this really made me want was a proper Stand By Me cover by Miley Cyrus by herself.
Yeah.
Like
there's still time.
I would listen to that. Okay, now Wrecking Ball. Obviously,
this is the highlight. This is my favorite album. Like, if there's a few things I'd probably put on. There's only maybe one or two other tracks on this album, but that I like. But this is probably the only one I'd put on a mix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this is just a solid fucking song.
It's
like somebody going through some shit and being very open about it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it rocks. It's I mean, there's nothing I don't think you and I can add to the conversation on Wrecking Ball that hasn't already been said.
It's a fantastic fucking song.
It's a fantastic fucking song. And it breaks my heart that this is one of the 4 songs that she didn't write. That was really defeated for me, because I was like, that's awesome. And then you find out she wasn't one of the writers on it. You go, no.
No, it's That's life, Paul. Life is full of disappointments.
Life is full of disappointments. Then
that'll go on that, and probably 4x4 I'll put on mixes just because 4x4 just because nobody will see that one coming.
no one will see that one coming. You can like 4x4. I did not. I thought on the album. Maybe it's because it was on this album that I just again I went from Adore You to then also like 3 tracks later I'm at 4x4 and I'm going, I got fucking whiplash. Like when this came
you're just rubbernecking too much, Paul. You're just rubbernecking.
Yeah. Then we get to the next one that she did write, Love Money Party featuring Big Sean. Oh. Yeah.
And this is like another, this is a club song.
Yeah.
These are songs that, it's not even clubs. Like, these songs I heard played in, like, all over. Every bar I've been to, from Worthington to Bemidji to Moorhead to Minneapolis. Like, these are the songs that people just love to get fucked up to. Yep. So, obviously, it's not my thing, but there is the appeal.
Yeah.
I just thought this was just a vapid song.
So did I. Was like, love ain't love, but nothing but when it's love. Money ain't nothing except when money, and you got the money and then it's just love money party, and it's very vapid. There's nothing going on there. I will say that again, some of the musical hooks, some of the arrangements in it are really really catchy. Like I get it, like yes, but when you're listening to it to listen to an album and you go whoa, like no,
yes. No, I just like that was one of those my eyes just glassed over like okay. Yep, so, this exists.
So Get It Right. I had it right because when I heard this one, I was like, okay, this is one of the songs she didn't write.
This was Pharrell Williams.
Yeah, and this was like tonally
whatever.
Yeah.
He ripped off Marvin Gaye, so fuck him.
But this was just one of those things where I'm like, just like the words, the lyrics, and things like that didn't match up with like the rest of some of the songs on there. And I was like,
hashtag song.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like again, dating it. This is just dating this album. I don't know. Get It Right was serviceable. It was serviceable.
Yeah, again, these are just like club songs. Like they're good for that. These are good strip club songs, I guess, too. I just don't like strip clubs, so
yeah, no.
Let's get to Drive.
Yeah, no. So Drive, I like this one. I actually like this song. Like I thought, okay, this to me was like the other highlight of the album. Actually, I really enjoyed Drive.
I don't remember what was it like. I guess like these all kind of
blend together. It wasn't
that blend together. It's just like it was just I listen to these when I'm driving, so it's kind of hard. There was one song, I think it was either Drive or FU, that kind of had like an Amy Winehouse vibe.
I felt it was this one where like she was talking about dropping off the keys in the morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this one I really liked. Yeah, dropping the keys off in the morning. Yeah, this was a good one. Thanks for jarring my memory. I was all discombobulated about your crippling addiction to strip clubs.
It's that and Speed 2 Cruise Control's the two things I can't control in my life. I need to go to rehab for Speed 2 and strip clubs.
You live an interesting life, my friend.
Sometimes I bring Speed 2 into the strip club. Drive was a great song. Like, yeah, this was I love how you said that. Very Amy Winehousey.
Yeah, that just kind of like, kind of a throwback with her vocals. It felt like a throwback to like Winehouse and like that 60s.
Yes.
Kind of vibe.
100%. Then there's FU featuring French Montana, who I've never heard of before or since.
I've heard of it. I just not familiar enough to, I've seen like the albums or come across it like reading my stupid nerdy music sites, but that's probably the extent. That's the extent.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well, I looked at. He's the founder of Coke Boys Records. So, all right. FU, Paul, what's your take on FU from the founder of Coke Boys Productions?
Not my thing. I didn't really like this one. This is one of those ones that like when it came on, I was listening to it. I really just wanted to skip over. Didn't do anything for me. It like it started off, if I remember, this is the one where she starts singing, and then it's like right in the beginning, and then she stops to speak, and then you did what you wanted to do, and now I'm crying. It was like, I don't know. It didn't really do anything for me. I don't know.
Me either. Like, I barely remember it.
Yeah, it
didn't stand out.
No.
Yes, so
no. Do My Thing. I don't know. This one felt like it was trying too hard. Like
I think a lot of it is appealing to club shit, and that's not my thing.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
But again, like, these songs aren't bad. They're mixed bag, but I still give her credit because she's doing something outside her wheelhouse, and I'd rather have artists do that.
Yeah,
just rely on the same old, because nothing worse than artists becoming stagnant for me.
So this is the one thing that, like, this is one of the songs I actually talked about earlier, which is I'm just gonna say the lyrics here. Bang, bitch, you think I'm strange, bitch? It's bananas like a fucking orangutan, bitch. Don't worry about me, I'm all arranged, bitch. Mind your business, stay in your lane, bitch.
Well, I mean, is this scroll written by Freddy Krueger?
right, because he loved that word. Freddy Krueger loved bitch.
Welcome to hell, bitch.
No, welcome to prime time, bitch. That's what it was. Welcome to prime time.
Was the Rick and Morty Freddy Krueger character? He just Scary Steve or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Scary Terry.
Scary Terry.
Everything ended with the word bitch.
Yep.
Bitch.
Yes, Scary Terry. You can run and you can hide. Come out. Yeah, no, I mean, this was just one of those, again, I know it's a club song, but this is just one of those things that, like, it was so repetitive lyrically that, again, when you're trying to listen to it, like you said, as you're driving, you're going through things, not the demographic, but really it was just like, okay, no, now is not the time to be listening to this. Like, if I was in a club or something, probably would be a lot better. But when you're just kind of driving, you're going through, no, this just for me, like, wasn't in. Then you got Maybe You're Right, which I don't know. I didn't mind this one. This one was a little bit more introspective. Like, I felt this was one of those songs that she was trying to say something again. I think this had a lot to do with, I felt like it was a little bit more open, honest. Like, this is one of those ones that I felt was a little bit more lyrically deep, and when she was trying to say something here. So I didn't mind this one.
Yeah, I didn't mind it either.
Then you had Someone Else, which ended the album.
Yep.
And that to me was forgettable. Like, I honestly don't remember that one.
Yeah, it ended, and then there was the bonus tracks. I didn't really get too deep into those just because.
So
it's just not my kind of genre. So we just said we we're going to discuss the regular tracks and not the bonus. So I turned it off after Someone Else.
No, that's fine. And for me, the only album I could find on my music streaming service was the deluxe edition.
Oh yeah, so, same here. But, like, I looked on the Wikipedia where the actual album ended,
and I was just playing because I was driving, right? So I want to talk about number 16, which was Hands in the Air featuring Luda. How is Luda still relevant? How does anyone do anything with Luda anymore?
Luda, who's in the hugest movie franchise of this era with the Fast and Furious, that ludicrous.
Ludicrous.
I had no idea he was still making music, honestly.
Remember
when he played St. Cloud State and he had to do a censored set?
No.
Yeah, he played St. Cloud State, I think, the year before I went, so like 2005, and like so he had to do he wasn't allowed to swear, so like he had to do it like the clean version of his albums, which so yeah, I remember that being a little uproar.
Interesting,
which is weird because I went to a lot of other things at St. Cloud State notably Kevin Smith, and he wasn't shy on dropping F-bombs, so.
Well, and I saw Weird Al at St. Cloud State, and he
F-bombs.
F-bombs everywhere.
Weird Al's just known for dropping those F-bombs.
F-bombs everywhere. No, funny story that was he hired this local comic, and the local comic was supposed to be on for like 45 minutes, but he didn't realize that the local comic was not a clean comic. So he was like, I'm gonna have to really like change a lot of my jokes while I'm up here, guys. And he was like actually only on for like 20 minutes. So there was like 25 minutes of like just nothing going on. So I thought that was a funny story. But the reason why I bring this up was Hands in the Air. Luda comes on in this song and sings about Luda. Absolutely nothing about what's going on in the song, about how Luda's still in the game, how he's got everything on lock, how he created the business, how he created this, and everyone fucking loves Luda. And then it goes right back to Miley. And I went, why?
That's amazing. I love that so much.
I mean, I shit you not. It's nothing but just like Luda's fucking amazing. Luda, and I'm awesome. And then end of Luda rap. Like I was just like, what the
man,
fuck?
Bring Luda in the studio, you're gonna get Luda. I mean, you know the dangers of going in. Like
it hilariously reminded me of that SNL skit where Luda comes in and he brings in Andy Samberg to be like this awesome rapper, and he's like, rap game, I got my rap game. Like, sings about absolutely nothing that they wanted him to like rap about. This is exactly that. Like, it was, the irony was ridiculous. Like the song is kind of like, dreaming about things I climbed onto the clouds, scared to look down. I remember when I was all alone, nobody around to hold me down, but you're here with me tonight. Look at what you found. Like, okay. Then you got Luda. It's go hard or go home, and ain't alone looking back. My toughest enemies in the mirror. Who you looking at? I'm top 5, dead or alive, one of the best in rhyme. If I ever take a seat, I stood the test of time. Every verse, every song, every feature I was on. Better know I abused it. If I die before my time, I'll still be living through my music. I cracked the industry open, but I still got this shit on lock. Even on the highway up to heaven, Luda's will still be on top. And then it goes right back, and it's like, what just, did I have a stroke? Like did am I listening to the radio and like a Luda song came in and then went back to a Miley song? Like, it's the most jarring thing. That's
right, Paul. He's a troublemaker.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Luda, big in the trouble. He does not forget Bill O'Reilly did get him kicked off of his Pepsi promotion. So, there is that.
That's when the cancel culture was okay.
Yeah, that's when cancel culture was okay. That's when Fox News is okay with cancel culture. Get Luda off of there. Okay. Well, no, now cancel culture is bad. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. Like, just ridiculous. So, yeah, that's the album. Now, I hammered Miley, I feel like, a lot. And I really want to say that, again, as things have come around, in interviews, things like that, she's, she's toned down. Now, I don't want to say she toned down like she was out of control here, like there's anything to tone down about. But again, like a lot of this album to me felt like an identity crisis, felt like I
think a lot of that is an identity crisis because she was getting older and, wanting to get rid of that image of Hannah Montana. Some of it's just like, well, there's got to be a better way to do that.
Right. I mean,
it's her call. Like, it's her life.
Yep. There's a lot of songs in here that reference. I mean, again, I'm not old or I'm not whatever. That reference, that outright reference. That she sings about Molly several times in several different songs, and that's fine. Whatever. Like that. That's not that big of a deal. It's just you don't really find it as blatant as this. So I thought that was kind of interesting and for shock value. And that's where I kind of want to wrap this up. I feel like that, like, there is some identity crisis here, but this also feels somewhat disingenuous. because I feel like this was part of a marketing ploy. Like this was in control this whole time, that you're going to have this image of an out of control Miley Cyrus that was in the veins of, again, an Amanda Bynes, that was in the veins of a Britney Spears, that were getting a shit ton of attention for being completely on the, for being a spectacle, of going off the rails, of, oh my God, what are we going to see next? Like, it was this really gross atmosphere that we still see today with a lot of, instead of, when someone comes out, I think that mockumentary that turned out to be the mockumentary, I'm Still Here, with Joaquin Phoenix, right? Where all these people are watching him kind of go off the rails. And the one fucking person is Edward James Olmos, who says, "Are you okay? Do you need help?" Out of that entire movie, he is the only person that ever went, "Are you okay? Do you need help?" And I feel like that this was somewhat disingenuous of creating that spin and that atmosphere of what we're going to see next with Miley. Like, oh my God, we need to make Miley look like she's off the rails, like she's going to be out of control, that she's headed down this downward spiral, and get all the attention on her and do all these things. And I feel like, either A, it was, and she turned it around into a beautiful 180 and is doing great, or B, which is more what I'm leaning towards, is this was a really, really great production media circus that they were able to spin around and create this short-term persona to, number one, shed what was the Hannah Montana, create this kind of thing, and then allow her to kind of be herself. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think it's as nefarious as that. I think she was just a 20-year-old who, wanted to shed her past image, and also fucking drugs do change how you think,
oh God,
how you act and all that. So I think I'm leaning more, it was just she wanted to do something else and kind of became a train wreck. I don't think it was calculated in any way. I think, here's the thing, music industry doesn't really, they don't like taking chances, and like if she would have done something to cost them the bottom line, what's the point for them? This album just seemed like it was a risk in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
Financial risk for them, because it's not more of the same, which again, record industries, their only job is to make money. They don't care about artistic integrity. They don't give a shit about any of that.
That's a good point.
I think this was her just going through a weird phase in her life, and it just happened to be caught on an album.
And that's
because then she moved on to make an album with the Flaming Lips, which didn't sell shit.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think it's as. I think she was just going through a transitional period in her life. And I don't think it's like this whole marketing ploy to make her seem. And if I've been 20 years old and fucked up on shit, and it's just that's what it is. She's just under the spotlight of cameras and all that. And
I'm going to go with you on that. I'm going to say I'm going to agree with you on that, which is fantastic, because this is actually like a really feel good story, because not a lot of people get the turnaround when they're in that situation that Miley did.
Yeah. And not a lot of people do.
And that is fantastic.
I think she was able to right that ship a little bit. I mean, it's not like she was doing something. I mean, yeah, she went off the rails a bit and but I think that's just, being young and stupid and full of fucking chemicals. Like, that shit just happens, man. And she just had the unfortunate situation of being famous.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just not, and I'm glad she was able to, kind of pull herself out of that, because it's fun and games until it's not fun.
Right. And when you see this with childhood stars and people that have been, childhood in the entertainment industry, you don't see a good turnaround like you do with this. I mean, this is a woman who has gone around, or I shouldn't even say woman, because she's gender neutral. This is a person that has come out and done a lot for the LGBT community, LGBTQ community, has done a lot with philanthropy. I mean, she has done a lot of charity. She has given a lot of for benefits, and had kind of the hippie founder of the Happy Hippie Foundation, where she, goes and raises money against homelessness, vulnerable youth, vulnerable populations, LGBT. It's really some fantastic stuff that she has kind of, really put out and have contributed to. So yeah, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic to see someone go from that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, there's a lot of things there, because I really wanted to get into Miley, because I think the whole Miley Cyrus story itself is maybe a little bit more interesting, and I think Bangerz was a really interesting snapshot into, as you said, it was caught, right? Like this particular instance of her life, of this change, this snapshot in this person's life was caught, and it really, it captured the attention of a lot of people. I mean, again, in 2013, she was on Time Magazine's list of people of the year. That's how much of a big deal she was when this album came out. And I think people forget just how much she was everywhere at the time.
Yep, I agree. And I just saw that Dr. Luke was a producer on Wrecking Ball, and that's kind of gross.
Yeah,
gross. That's very gross.
Yeah, do we talk about Dr. Luke real quick, since you want to let the audience know?
I really don't want to get into a rapist.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. Dr. Luke's a rapist. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Joe, would you recommend Bangerz?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting listen. It's not great, but it's taking chances. So I would say, see if it's your thing or not. If you like club music, you'll probably really like this. So,
I'm gonna say, no. I'm gonna say no, and the reason why I'm gonna say no is the big hits off this album you've heard. The songs that need to be heard: Wrecking Ball, We Can't Stop. The two main big songs off this album that are really can't miss songs are, you've heard, like they're out there. You're going to know them. If you're going to go out to the club, you're probably going to hear one or two of these songs. I don't feel it's consistent enough of a club album to put on. I feel like there's a lot of lulls. Like, this is one of those things where, when you're at a club or you're at a party, and I used to play in a house band at a particular house in the basement where we would play while people would party and do things. You want to have a set, you want to have music that you don't, especially you're going to put this on as like an album, or put this on either stream it, right? There's going to be a lot of lull points. So you're going to be going through and you're going to have someone, switching the track. So no, I can't, just because it's so inconsistent. Like, yes, there's club songs on here that are great for clubbing. There's things on here that maybe you would like 4x4, right? But it doesn't fit the rest of the album. Or Drive, it doesn't fit the rest of the album. So no, Joe, I think we're going to actually disagree on this one. I'm going to say no, I don't recommend the album. I recommend songs off of it.
All right.
Yeah.
Continue your patriarchy there, Paul. Let's not recommend a female artist. All right.
You. That's not it at all.
God, we're already canceled, Paul.
God, no, fuck you. No, what do you want me to recommend?
I just got banned on Twitter for this. Do
you want me to? Okay. Do you want me to go back and I'll change my recommendation for Amanda Lear?
No, you gotta.
No, it's too inconsistent for me. This is just one of those albums that, all the way through, I was like you said, I was rubbernecking. I was taken in and out. The flow wasn't there. So no,
I just recommend it just because there's some interesting things on the tracks that aren't hits that I thought was, could have been better if it was more focused. There's just parts and things throughout it that I thought were interesting. So that's why I would.
Yes, I will agree with you. There are parts and things that are interesting with it. I just don't know if it's interesting enough that I could recommend it, because, as you said, there's things in there that, if it was more focused, could have been great. And I think, I think the audience, at least, from my recommendation, you'll be like where I was, where it's like, I was let down because I was like, oh, that's so close to being really good, but it didn't reach it. and instead it just kind of was like made me more like, oh man, what could that have been?
Well, here, just remember, ladies, even if you have a #1 U.S. Billboard Top 200 album, Paul's not going to recommend it.
Oh, fuck off. No, I mean, I would recommend Plastic Hearts. I'd recommend any day of the week. I'd recommend Miley Cyrus and her Dead Pets. No, any day of the week, I would recommend Miley Cyrus and her Dead Pets.
Ladies, even if you're 3-time platinum with an album, Paul's not going to recommend.
Oh my god, yeah, just like I didn't recommend Beyonce. No, really. I mean, if you want to listen to a Miley Cyrus album all the way through and get some really interesting stuff, then yes, do Miley Cyrus and her Dead Pets. That is a fantastic album that I would recommend. 6 Waves from Sunday. There's just so much there. It's an hour and a half fucking excursion of Miley at like her absolute. I love it. I mean, yeah. So that's my take on it. So there's my piece. Yeah, listen to Dead Pets instead.
Yeah, listen to the album that didn't go triple platinum, everybody.
Shut the fuck. You're such a shithead.
Listen to the album that sold like 200 units. Paul has to be like that indie hipster guy, you gotta listen to the album nobody likes.
No, like I said, I'm done defending myself. I said my thing. The audience knows what I was saying. You've heard the hits off this album. The hits on this album are amazing, but it doesn't go much deeper than that. All right, Joe, plugs, you pig fuck. What are you and Joe doing at the Joe Down?
we just released our first blog of the year. We did The Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome when it came out, and then when I rewatched it, it didn't make any fucking sense, but it still stands up a bit. And then up next, we're watching the Steven Seagal classic, Hard to Kill.
Oh, God. Oh, is that the one that killed his career?
I don't know. I thought Under Siege 2 killed his career, honestly. Or maybe like going to Russia and praising Putin. That didn't help either. Or becoming a big fat guy. That didn't help his action career.
Hang on.
Or being hated by everybody who's ever made a movie with him. That didn't help his career.
I'm sorry. It was On Deadly Ground. On Deadly Ground was the one that killed his career. Okay. Nope. Yeah. On Deadly Ground was like the one that he produced and he starred in and he created a production company for and was like gonna be like this big thing, and then it just fucking like swept the Razzies, and it's basically now like his straight to DVD or straight to video movie production. Like everything after Deadly Ground is like why all Steven Seagal's movies went like straight to fucking video and stopped being seen in theaters. So I was thinking On Deadly Ground. Okay, yes, Hard to Kill. I know which one that is. Oh man, that is. You're a better man than I am.
It's mindless action. I guess it's not a lot of heavy thinking with a Steven Seagal movie. So
no, and I will say, of all of his movies, I think it's one of his best.
I mean, Under Siege is solid. The first one.
Under Siege was solid. God, which one was it? It was
he's on the submarine with Gary Busey.
Yeah, no, I know that one. I'm just trying to think of which one it was with the duo of villains that were the Rastafarians. Was that Above the Law?
I think you're making things up.
No, it's the ones where like you think he kills the killer, but it turns out he has a twin. Anyways, it was a really good movie. I'll have to look that one up. But yeah, no, it was a really good Steven Seagal movie. So which is any Steven Seagal movie is gonna be better than his SNL performance. So all right. Yeah, no. Okay. All right, Joe. Well, what are we doing? What are we doing next time?
I'm just picking an album that I'm not super familiar with, but like I know a lot of people give it a critical acclaim. But I figured why not, since we have this platform to talk a bunch of bullshit. Next album we're going to do is #1 record by Big Star.
#1 record by Big Star, huh?
Yeah, Big Star, Alex Chilton's band in the 70s. Alex Chilton was also part of the Box Tops. He wrote the song The Letter.
Oh, all right.
Big Star wrote the song Down the Street, which was covered by Cheap Trick for the intro to That 70s Show.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I figured we'll give Big Star a shot.
I'm looking forward to that. I am excited for that one.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Oh, and I found the movie that I'm thinking of Steven Seagal's was Marked for Death. That's the one I was thinking of, where he fights Screwface. Yes, there's a villain named Screwface.
Oh, so you recommend that, but not a 3-time platinum album by
Oh my God, no! I'm sticking by my guns on this one. I am sticking by my guns on this one. Nope. Nope. I cannot. It again. I'm not the audience for it. If you are the audience for it, go for it. But I think with the country, with the club, with the ballads, with this, I just think there's too much inconsistency there. Where, it's good for what it is in those particular genres, but mixing it all together and sitting down and listening to the album as a whole, I didn't enjoy the experience. But I'm not gonna lie, I love Miley's voice. I recognize her as an incredibly talented musician and artist. There's, like I said, there's some great stuff on here, but you've heard it.
Bold choice there, Paul. Bold choice, Scott, and we'll see how it plays out for
Let's see how that plays out for you. Oh, shit. All right. Joe, do you want to take us out?
No, not after that.